Tuesday afternoon, Ekosi saying live on Asempa FM. 21 minutes after 2 on the 9th day of August, 2022. Let me thank the production team for making this show possible. Dominic Kisi Yeboah, Nana Chumberima Jackson Osei Ntiamoa, and Eric Opare, popularly known as DJ Yeyo, and your Queen Star in Japan. They make up the production team of Ekosi saying, with support from Omai Hene Kwabena Asante. And they want some guapno. So this show happens every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Live on Asempa FM. And any day di kanya wutie I mean Kai will say in studios ewo Fan of Fast Street Kokomelemle 355 Fan of Fast Street in Kokomelemle eho and ye why did you make any ifi. But our show is streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and then on some affiliate radio stations here in Ghana and abroad. Especially Ghana for the US of A, United Kingdom, or Germany, or Holland, or Denmark, or Norway, or China, South Africa, and all over the world. Mutie Ekosi saying on Facebook and then on YouTube, no, ye de munyina ase. O Ghana hey so ena ebia uni Greater Accra region or any of the other 15 regions. Na utie on one of our affiliate radio stations, ye mamonso akwaba edamwasese muguswa etie. We are grateful for making us number one. Ekosi saying live on Asempa FM. So please tell a friend to tell another friend to tune in to 94.7, and that Ekosi is live and they're born. And we have some exclusive interviews coming your way. Enra Omampenyi Ekasai, in one of his interviews on his tour of the northern region, essentially, or the truth just said, Omoa e pushi for Reshuffle any adeno. Nitima Owosisi, and he believes, say, in his view, they've done quite well. Put it up, excuse me, a sterling performance. In the words of the president, say Reshuffle ebebempa, it might not be now. And he made the point, say, Obien woman penny bien and he used the word responsible. No responsible president. And a reshuffle. Out announces them a reshuffle. The president will go ahead and do it without any form of announcement. The huge debate about, in fact, some members of his own party are not particularly happy about those comments. And Yebekomba in there, no Sarika said, Sawasha complaint any calls for reshuffle now. Ebi free NDC for her neighbor. NDC for would want to destabilize his government. We'll get into that conversation and speak to some interested parties. Ewasa and Komoyi Ehon. I've also got an exclusive interview with the General Secretary of the NPP, Nidin Edi Justine Frimpong Kudia. Yeneno Ebedi and Komo Ene Ewie. He joined the president on his tour of the northern regions. And the Ebedi Ehon and Komo plus some other issues are up would find out from him. And I think Enra, any former Olympian, national athletics champion, ne record in 200 meters and 100 meters, standing for 25 years. And I think 200 meters record is standing for 24 years. And on the 100 meters record is standing for 25 years. But Brennan himself any Cora and Okatra and said, on in summer is see or Birmingham, no. Excuse me, sincere apologies. Our home sem eka na wadom wesu kwa kakra enya some details. Yene ne bedi nkomo na or the sad details. I mean, what actually happened? Ewo Birmingham. I nam so me disqualify Ghana 4x100 relay team, no. Embarrassing development for our country. India was say, and I'm told say some former national athletes and so are interested and they would want to talk. So we have an interesting show coming up for you. You would want to stay with us and get to listen to all the issues. But please do join us with your comments, your thoughts, your observations on Facebook, on YouTube, basically on our live stream. Into all the buy the amount. We're on Twitter as well. Your handle at asempa947 _FM. At asempa947 _FM. My personal handle at Philip Bonsu. At Philip Bonsu. Please send me a tweet and let me share them with the rest of the world. Very, very important. Na yenshare. Ema wiase nyina nso ente onka. Ekosi sensuni. Ehaya Sempa FM. Okay, some birthday dedication already coming through. This one says, "Good afternoon, Obi. Ekosisa is born inside Queensland, and I'm doing the listening live with Frederick Kwesi Dampare and George Kwabena Bola. Obi, please kindly wish Pa Joe inside Awudome Estate a glorious happy birthday for me. This is from Sea Blue, Kofi Benny, Etiwa Foreigner, and the rest of the family. They would want to celebrate you today. Ojo, Master P, London, Master P in London. Okay, we say Obi. The claim by this government that Ghanaians are now living in paradise today is completely false. How can we live better when they deliberately close down businesses, increased utilities, increased fuel prices, increased the ball of kenke from 1 city to 3 cities? The living condition of Ghanaians will manifest in the up-and-coming elections in 2024. Positive change. Medina. Obi, we the foot soldiers of Krowo are pleading with the president to do a reshuffle and sack all those who are not helping him at all. Greetings to Engineer of Krowo and Clifford of Teshi Ford School. Abele Nungwa Edia Onodia Breye Enono Abele in Nungwa. Okay. Yawuza in Swami. Yawuza in Swami says the leadership of the NDC does not have policies and strategies to win elections. Hence, there are accusations of the EC wanting to rig the 2024 polls for the NPP with Ghana card. But they should bear in mind that the NPP will win the 2024 elections based on a good track record and clear-cut policies. So they should stop the needless tantrums. Yawuza Swami. Blueprint ewo isikado keten in the Western region. I say there could be a lot of reasons people would be advocating for a reshuffle. It could be NDC people wanting to destabilize this government, or probably being pushed by some people who want some ministers sacked so that they may be appointed. And these are the words of the president. Case closed. Let's focus and help build the country for all of us. My regards to Dr. Akoto Afriye, the awaiting president of Ghana. Okay, and lest I forget, Standard & Poor's and so at the latest grading on Ghana's economic outlook, NBBA ABBA, and it doesn't really look good. It doesn't look good at all from rating or in the latest S&P's ratings. We'll get into that and speak extensively about that. Government already, I expressed disappointment at the current ratings at S&P at the Amaye. But we'll come in there. We say, good afternoon, Obi. The utterances from the president is a big blow to the NPP grassroots. Richard Krampa, Ewo Ablekuma Central, the way are praying. To the mothers of all mothers, you have been a true inspiration and support for us over the years. will choose you today and in the next life. May the Lord keep you safe for us. We love you to the moon and back. Happy birthday, our mother and heartbeat, Nancy Obadwa Martinson. From your children and all your in-laws, we say live to be 94.7 and beyond. Hashtag Ekosi saying, and Madam Nancy Obadwa Martinson, happy birthday to you. And this is from your son, Alex Martinson, and the rest of his siblings. They would want to wish you very, very, very well. Ma yenkwa homane so na yenhyase enin commod. Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP for the North Tongue constituency and ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Ghana's Parliament. Honorable Akwabe Kosi Sensoni.
Mejo so many baby abako.
Nyame adom na unso
nyame adom. Yego so.
A member of the NDC. The president yesterday made a point, said the calls for reshuffle, no? Bebrena free NDC for na eba, and from Mono, you only want to destabilize his government. Is that the case?
Yo, I mean that's heady kind. My main chat here for na member mo baso ejuma pa moya. Honestly, no. What His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, on this matter to do with reshuffle. So you get the impression that the president has totally lost touch. I'm saying the air cost or mining. Ahunchira aba economy a collapse. Oshe indices minyana global independent credible organizations on my assessment of various indicators. Recently, Afrobarometer, one of the most credible sources of data in terms of key governance indicators. Majority of Ghanaians, I say this government has failed Ghanaians, and that the country is headed in the wrong direction. OSHA, the rating agencies, Sana Omwa downgraded Ghana in terms that have never been seen in our country's history. The Standard & Poor's are here just last week. The junk rating, to say, Omode Ghana, that junk category, CCCC, with a negative outlook. The same for Fitch, the same for Moody's. OSHA, inflation, the worst in more than 2 decades. Air hit 30%, and all the indications are that it's going to get worse. Look at your debt to GDP ratio. You are crossing the dreaded 60%. If you add all the arrears that they are hiding, Cocoa Board arrears and Get Fund, and then all the other arrears, even the banking sector cleanup, the so-called cleanup, they created their own mess and then labeled it as a cleanup. We are talking in excess of 80%. Into virtually every indicator, the corruption perception index, press freedom index, we have scored the worst performance ever in the history of our country. Over population and housing census, on youth unemployment, the worst performance ever, 13.4%. The last time you had a census in 2010, it was 5.3%. Look, every indicator or more institutions, population and housing census, is the statistical service and I conduct here. That same statistical service, I hear a survey recently, just a few days ago, indicating that bribery and corruption is out of control. Every year, be about 5.5 billion cedis of extortion is taking place, where people are paying for services they shouldn't be paying for in the public sector. Take every indicator. Look, take the Auditor General's report. The stinking levels of corruption between 2017 and now, financial malpractices, malfeasance, is about 50 billion Ghana cedis. Usha, the analysis of Auditor General are here. Until you ask yourself, sir, is President Akufo-Addo really living in Ghana? Is he conscious of what is happening? And I say, he's in a world of his own. He is just in a bubble, and he has absolutely no clue of what is happening in this country. Sure, the levels of indebtedness to even institutions, they say, Get Fund, DACF, NHI, Social NAPCO trainees, the nursing teacher trainees, nursing trainees,
yes.
teacher trainees. Look, take contractors. Look, we are headed. This ship is sinking. It's worse than what happened to the Titanic. It's clear, sir. The ship is sinking, and to have the president who one will have expected, sir, he will show a certain awareness. At least, just show that awareness. Because what in the interview or say the ministers are performing in an outstanding. I mean, he likes to use very flowery language. Outstanding performance. Meaning, Ghanaians are asking, is this the result of outstanding performance? Really, outstanding performance. Is this the result? Outstanding performance, which has ended up, putting Ghana on every negative indicator. Me sure say what kind, even the Bloomberg table of countries that are set to default, countries that would not be able to pay their debts and will be insolvent in no time. We are second to El Salvador. I mean, we are performing worse than Ukraine. Can you imagine? On that table, Ukraine is number 8. We are number 2. We almost, carried all countries in the world. That is how abysmal. That is how horrible. That is how terrible the performance of this government has been. And to hear the president say, the ministers are performing in a fund. I mean, which ministry? Take all the ministry. Which ministry? And let me emphasize, the call for reshuffle, and yet a call born out of mischief, and I say to destabilize his government as he's claiming. I mean, reshuffle your team. Una we are president. Una we are the coach. Oh, Bobo, you have fielded your first 11. Yeah, sure. You are last in your group. Bibia and Koye, you show about 9-0. Supporters, so be spectators. Look, coach, where the formation in players now are filled and try something different. At least try to save, the team. And then you say, those who are making these legitimate demands, they don't wish you 1% almost destabilize it. How does reshuffle your team? Obianka say, Obi kofa two and Obi ko disrupted this democracy. Nobody has said that. That is what will amount to destabilization and subversion. Nobody has said that. It is out of our living reality, your concrete conditions, the way bibia apaska, bibia enkoye, and there is no hope in sight. We keep moving from bad to worse, sector by sector. And I say, Coach, your poucho, do something. Look, I have heard leading members of the New Patriotic Party, including an association, and chair. So they were calling themselves Association of Foot Soldiers.
AFA, Alliance of Foot Soldiers Advocacy.
Yes. You know, known activists of the NPP. I mean, these are activists who have not spared, some of us in time past. They wish the president well. They want their party to succeed. Omunina add them with us, including many civil society activists who have made the call, say, President, this is a horrible situation. In this Fourth Republic, probably even in the entire history of our country, we have never witnessed such an abysmal performance. We've never seen such a horrendous output. All the excuses are more, pandemic, Russia-Ukraine war. These are global conditions. When we go and assess other countries, how is it, say, other countries are showing greater resilience? Other countries are showing, better leadership, inspiring leadership. Should the Kosovo, Rwanda? Rwanda is also a country on earth. Sebi, Omuni Mars and Omuni Jupiter. They have managed the economy so well, sir. Despite the Russia-Ukraine war, despite the pandemic, teachers have received salary increases by as much as 88%. You go to many other countries, from Uganda all the way to Nigeria, to South Africa. They have been able to identify the vulnerable. Omo stipends, support. I don't even want to go to what is happening in the West. Inti Ebanesaina, Ghana and Guadia. And you see, the tragedy, and you say, even the country at the receiving end of the bombs from Russia, Ushomu indicators now, they are doing much, much better than us. So it cannot be, say, it is a pandemic. It is Russia-Ukraine. In any case, many analysts, including the World Bank country director, the IMF visiting delegation, Omunyana Akase, even before the pandemic, before the Russia-Ukraine war, we had exhibited clear signs of vulnerabilities. We were really on a downward spiral. And then moving away even from the incompetence and the disastrous output of this his first 11, this is election. We need also to now analyze the ministers in Libya. Misconduct. Nobody, as at now, understands why these ministers are post. Example, health minister. Obian himself, health minister, has been indicted by a parliamentary committee, a bipartisan parliamentary committee, are indicting. Indeed, Osha, the various other papers, Ansana Yabe rising now. What is left is for a vote of censure. The motion has been tabled based on the indictment by the bipartisan committee, the special Sputnik V committee. A vote of censure should be taken on him. Simply put, Yentuaba na free health ministry. Will you believe, sir, President Akufo-Addo, despite all of this glaring evidence, evidence which is incontrovertible, which is irrefutable, which is so solid, he went to his constituency and went to campaign for him, and also NDC machinations. You wonder what really is wrong with our president. And you compare this situation with what has happened elsewhere. Ushe South Africa, let me just begin from Africa. Omo Health Minister, it was just an allegation. Say he was trying to take advantage of the pandemic to, as it were, gain personally. Immediately, President Cyril Ramaphosa, said on proceeding on leave. And then he himself, he didn't wait for Parliament. President Ramaphosa initiated investigations. And Health Minister, the way now investigations he quickly jumped ship. He resigned out of the government. This is South Africa. And the president was happy to swiftly accept his resignation. I mean, say all you say against Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He immediately relieved the health secretary, Hancock, when he was seen, violating the COVID rules and our restrictions. You ask yourself, what is happening? Look, in our country, the history we've been used to. President Mahama, the Deputy Communications Minister, just a leaked tape about, expressing some thought which many considered unholy. Immediately, she was relieved of her position. President Akufo-Addo, the Honorable Anane, his issues, with, that US-based lady, Alexandra O'Brien, and matters to do with, wrongful conduct, infidelity, and all of that, with the Enquirer newspaper, Raymond Archer leading the charge. Such investigations started here. President Kufuor set a good example, relieved him, said, if you are cleared, then you can come back later. You don't see President Akufo-Addo, follow this, decent examples of his predecessors and what is happening elsewhere. Let me take you to Malawi, Minia, Obi. Early this year, the Malawian president, President Lazarus Chikwete, there were allegations of corruption, a few of his cabinet ministers. He dismissed the entire cabinet, or dissolved the cabinet. Say he would not want to preside over a corrupt cabinet. And he was also not happy with the direction of the country, because independent polls, they say the Afrobarometer on Ghana had indicated that the ministers were not doing well. The country was headed in the wrong direction. President Lazarus dismissed everybody. I mean, this is a president who, wants to portray himself as the leader of African presidents, ECOWAS, trailblazer, AU champion, even on gender matters. As former foreign minister, he really likes to tout his international relation credentials. So the question I ask is he not observing these outstanding examples of NPS, South Africa, Malawi, Tanzania, Rwanda, what his peers are doing in these times, showing decisive leadership, strong leadership, incorruptible leadership? I mean, take another example, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. How on earth will a finance minister like Ken Ofori-Atta remain at post when he has withdrawn over 200 million Ghana cedis out of the consolidated fund on the blind side of Parliament without parliamentary approval, ostensibly to construct a national cathedral? Sikano Krano, there's no evidence it went into the cathedral project. The project is still a foundation. Some people say it looks like a fish pond. All kinds of diversions have taken place. Compensation has not been paid. There's a looming judgment debt as we speak. The Article 178 of our Constitution has been flagrantly violated. Such a finance minister remains at post. Conflict of interest. This same finance minister, Yebisa, a direct question in Parliament, said, bonds now were raising from 2017. How much has accrued to Data Bank? He was happy to reveal, say, they have made 159 million, almost 160 million Ghana cedis on just bonds alone, in all kinds of dubious conflict of interest arrangements. Who will tolerate such a minister? Charles Edoubois is also there. Black Star Holdings. Into Omodie, they are just profiting from our misery. When we are drowning in debt, economy no collapse no. Shebebia currency no. Look at who will have thought say a CD to dollar exchange would now be hovering around 9 Ghana cedis. All indications are that in December it will be 10. I mean, it's unimaginable. And you have these ministers still at post.
Sammy, the question then would be, and I would ask 2 questions in one. First part, Neye, we've been on this road before, and I recall, sir, in the year 2015, when things got difficult, the then President John Mahama called for a national conversation, and no edit the Senchi summit no eba emi yekudidi yen ho nkomo. During those heady days no I don't recall say the finance minister then was reshuffled. Why do you think it should happen this time around? And again, I've heard people also argue say when you are in the middle of a crisis, what trigger already conversations with the IMF. Tima ewo so mo engage IMF nene ade no. If you want to reshuffle them at this time, and unim say when a new minister comes in, time are we here to take control of the ministry, to understand the workings of the ministry. It takes time. You don't want to do that in the middle of a crisis. We here or more I established that are in the ministries to help you get out of the crisis. What do you think?
Well, brilliant question. I mean, responding to the latter first. In the middle of a crisis, first of all, no, you assess how you got into the crisis. Crisis we have found ourselves is self-inflicted because the evidence is overwhelming. So many countries around us. Look, even our neighbors, their inflation is not where it is. Debt to GDP ratio is not where ours is. Fiscal deficit is nowhere near where ours is. Into where we are is because of gross ineptitude and mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy by people who set out to profiteer, to set up an empire and, as it were, benefit from our miseries, from our woes. Until once they are personally benefiting, they didn't care what was happening to the larger Ghanaian society. That is what has brought us where we are. And in the middle of a crisis, sometimes, and indeed, what most leaders do, and it's to bring in freshness, to bring in relief, you change those who have created the crisis, and you bring in people who are not associated to the crisis, who did not cause the crisis. What that does, it immediately brings in new confidence, a renewed sense of confidence. Look, I can tell you, sir, when you engage key analysts within various spectrums, even within international corridors, they ask, sir, so why are all these people still there? Particularly the finance minister. Just even as a matter of credibility, finance minister, what I said, no, he has no regard for the IMF. We are proud people. These are his exact words. So we can manage our own affairs. We will never go to the IMF. What do they have to offer? How do you expect such a person leading IMF negotiations? I mean, ab initio, no. There is bad blood. There is mistrust. There is bad faith. How do you expect, sir, Ghana will get the best deal? And people will even have the market. Various industries will even have confidence with these same people who have superintended over the crisis. claiming to be the ones who can bring us out. How do you expect things to pan out? It's a wrong strategy. It's a wrong strategy. Look, what we stand to benefit just by a mere announcement of a new team, a fresh team with fresh ideas. Look, you will be shocked how the market will respond. I totally disagree, sir. They are conversant with the crisis. I mean, they are a team that have showed that they can do it. Why do you want to keep? I mean, if Ghana was your company and you've employed a staff that is always, mismanaging your company and you are making losses, Obeka said, Omo create losses, Omo create that environment of meltdown and insolvency. They should bring us out. They will know how to bring us out. I mean, really? Are you going to take that risk if Ghana was your corporate entity? You would not. The answer is obvious. Now, our first question on the President Mahama era.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be clear, sir. President Mahama, unlike President Akufo-Addo, did numerous reshuffles. Reshuffle. It's not just about one minister, now one portfolio. That's why in my submission, I started with the general outlook of the government, the direction of the country, all the analysts, all the surveys, and all the indicators, independent organizations who have confirmed. And bravo. As Bob Marley said, he who feels it knows it.
Yeah.
We know how things are in such a messy situation. We are all suffocating. We are suffering. We are struggling. We are dying. President Mahama, just like his predecessor, President Mills, I say, even the various sectors that I served, I had various bosses under President Mills. I say we started with the Honorable Zita as Information Minister. There was the Honorable John Tia as Information Minister. There was the Honorable, I think the last Information Minister was the Honorable Fritz Bafo.
Yeah.
And then my colleague, James Ajeni Mbwatin, went to tourism and then was brought back. And so Minkwana Meka Ministry of Information Hall in terms of the 4-year duration. And you can say same for many other sectors, trade, energy, education. They were changing, faces and all of that. You cannot compare all our presidents, to be fair, from President Rawlings, President Kufuor, President Mills, President Mahama, when they have been sensitive to the demands of Ghanaians. Any time Ghanaians have said, and now one kasakra, I recognize it, say, look, as a coach, we can beef up this sector. We can, and sometimes it's not even really, if you look at their history, it's not necessarily even some persons may not be performing, but they notice we were interest be in this particular sector. And Deputy Minister, where I show a lot of promise, I'm promoting, and now I say, this is now my priority, my focus as president. These are the areas that I think I should send some of my sharpshooters to help me deliver on a particular mandate and a particular, objective I must set it. But this is one president who clearly doesn't seem to believe in reshuffles. We do a history analysis, a historical analysis of all our presidents now. This is one president. He clearly does not believe in reshuffles. And it's not as if he even puts in place mechanisms. And we a president that won't believe in reshuffles. Now, so you, in terms of monitoring, in terms of your awareness, in terms of your ability to, as it were, hold your ministers accountable and in check, and in terms of even know-how about the details, the nitty-gritties, the bolts and nuts of those sectors, we don't see that. We don't see that from this president. And honestly, look, we must all be worried. It is clear that we are doomed. President look, the words he's using say this is team. A fantastic team. They are outstanding performance. I mean, okay, Obi, when you listen to the president, honestly, did you believe that this was an interview being done in 2022 at this time? I mean, it's shocking. And you see, I look back to our recent history. Ubekaya, Professor Mills Abreso, when the Honorable Spio Gabra or Cho, that famous op-ed in the Daily Graphic.
Yeah.
Or
Team B
why
thing?
is President Mills fielding Team B?
Yeah.
When people like them who are Team A performers are on the bench. You know, you compare and contrast, and you look at the achievements of that era of the Team B team. That was the time Ghana recorded the highest GDP growth rate in our entire history, 14.4%. In CEDA. That was the time we had the longest sustained single-digit inflation, 33 months of single-digit inflation.
Yeah, but it was also under an IMF program, no?
No, under Professor Mills.
In 2009, we went for an IMF program. Yes.
Yes, after the transition period. Yes, but the longest period. We had similar IMF arrangements under previous governments, but we didn't record, such a feat. So let's be clear, sir. Somebody must wake the president up. Somebody must burst that bubble the president has found himself in, and he should stop calling this team outstanding performance. They have achieved outstanding results. I mean, where? Unfortunately, when he speaks, he just makes broad, flowery statements without any evidence, without any proof, without any substantiation. On my end, some indicated. Tell us which sector. Is it planting for food and jobs, which has failed?
This final question, Mepacho, and I'll take you to the IMF website. In the IMF, I publish frequently asked questions on Ghana. In the key questions on Ghana, this was published on the 13th of July, 2022. And also read the key questions regarding Ghana and the IMF. Amongst other things, one of the questions the IMF responds to on this website, why is Ghana requesting an IMF program? Why is Ghana requesting an IMF program? The answer they provide, Ghana's fiscal and debt vulnerabilities are worsening fast amid an increasingly difficult external environment. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Ghana's public debt increased from 65% to 80% of GDP. At the same time, the government's fiscal efforts to preserve debt sustainability were not seen as sufficient by investors, leading to credit rating downgrades, non-resident investors' exit from domestic bond market, and loss of access to international capital market. These adverse developments, further exacerbated by the price and supply chain shocks from the war in Ukraine, have led to a large exchange rate depreciation, a surge in inflation, 29.8% year-on-year inflation in June, and pressure on foreign exchange reserves in the past month. In this context, the government has requested assistance from the IMF, and we have kickstarted the initial discussions on how to best address Ghana's challenges. An IMF-supported program aims to provide space for Ghana to implement policies which will restore macroeconomic stability and anchor debt sustainability while protecting the most vulnerable part of the population. It should help create the conditions for inclusive and sustainable growth and job creation. This will help strengthen policy credibility, alleviate exchange rate pressures, and provide catalytic effect on financing. And clearly, Same, the IMF believes that external shocks play key role. They single out COVID, they single out the Ukraine war.
The passer what kind this IMF document. And when you read it carefully, Omo use words like worsening, exacerbated. All of this confirms that we were on a downward trajectory. Na niema say, na say, the ineptitude, the incompetence, the cluelessness was palpable. It was producing certain negative results into the pandemic, and then the Russia-Ukraine war exacerbated. Say, Obronia uses the word exacerbation. It means that na say that way above the Western. That's the point we have always been making. It's a clear confirmation. And IMF worker said, "Oh, Unim, this was a sterling performer. Things were in such great shape. They were the best performers in the world, like under Professor Mills, 14.4%, longest single sustained digit inflation, and all of that. And it is the pandemic that has, as it were, caused a U-turn and a change in fortune." But that's not the write-up. That is not what the IMF is saying. The IMF is confirming, say, na niema say, and the external shocks further exacerbated the word they use, and it worsened our situation. You can't take refuge. You can't seek succor in this IMF. You know, they choose their words carefully.
Yeah.
I mean, these experts, they go through various consultancies. I mean, the best brains you can find because they can afford them. You know, so they choose their words carefully. Look, this pandemic and Russia-Ukraine war, what it has done is that exposing vulnerable economies, particularly economies that didn't have the right structures, that the things were artificial, so-called gains were just superficial. The pandemic exposes you, and that's why you have a situation like what you are seeing in Sri Lanka, what you are seeing in Lebanon, what you are seeing in El Salvador, what you are seeing in Ghana. The countries where they were robust and they had built resistance, they had built buffers, you know, and reserves. They are doing quite fine. They are doing quite fine. These things, just these external forces, it only comes to really show your true level. It shows your true level. It amplifies what is the case. So, oh yeah, dear, we will see that level of resistance.
Very well.
So, what say economy? If you mismanage the economy now, these external factors will just expose you the more, and that is what is happening in the case of Ghana. But let me conclude by saying, sir, look, the time has come for us to admit, sir, we really need a paradigm shift. We can't continue chasing after the same solutions, going to the IMF for the 18th time. Look, since 1967, this same part, many TUC4, and many analysts and scholars who are saying that Ghana must change the structure of its economy. We need new thinking. We need visionary leadership, because what we are doing is just tinkering. If we continue IMF and the IMF don't be mistaken, say they want you to be permanently weaned off. They would help you momentarily, give you some temporary solutions, hoping that you'll come back to them. they are in this for business, and there is something to be said about countries like the Asian tigers. They didn't go to the IMF to transform their societies. The only difference was that they had clear visionary leaders who were aware of the times, leaders who, when there is such an abysmal outlook, they won't say, ministers performing in an outstanding way and be praising their ministers, patting them on the back. Because, look, he himself, he is the leader of the cabinet. perhaps we should look at it this way, sir. He cannot reshuffle the team because when himself on one casano is part of the problem. If he starts talking about reshuffle, what it means is we must reshuffle the entire government. He must leave. The MPP must pack bag and baggage, and we need a new solution, a new government to come and rescue us. But look, more fundamentally, Nominia, we need new thinking, a paradigm shift, to make and also say, and think that IMF will bring us any solutions. Let us see
obviously
that sharp, decisive, visionary leadership that will change the structures and change the fortunes of our country. It's the only way out.
Obviously, you don't believe, say, and I say it is obvious, say, your party, the NDC, cannot give us that new thinking because you've probably sent us to the IMF more than any other party in government, no?
I have told you, sir, since 1967, I've been very honest in my submission, very objective, very patriotic to say, sir, since we started going to the IMF since 1967, what has changed? Remember, sir, look, they are even members of the NPP who do not necessarily support this decision. I know of even cabinet ministers who don't support this decision of going to the IMF. I know how President Mahama did everything possible to keep us away from the IMF. Look, it was a very painful decision. He was so reluctant, so hesitant to look. Interna, eventually, even the program the IMF came to implement was our Senchi program, the homegrown solution. He really thought, sir, that homegrown solution will be accepted by, the market and the international, finance community. But unfortunately, they still wanted a certain so-called IMF credibility. And we must admit, sir, this is a time for sober reflection. This path we have been on. Look, can't we see, sir, that is not what has transformed Singapore. That's not what has transformed Malaysia. That's not what has transformed Japan. That's not what transformed Rwanda. We don't need this same, short-term, cheap, opportunistic outcomes, which are so superficial. It doesn't go deep. It doesn't address the fundamental issues. And honestly, the kind of visionary leaders, who here leader who can take the tough decision, the leader who can say, I'm not going to appoint over 300 staffers. Me appoint 100 ministers. I'll cut down expenditure. I will pursue corruption vigorously because there's a lot of leakage. 50 billion now, Auditor General or reporting since 2017. When he said the so-called balance of payment support, IACK, it's not more than $3 billion. At today's exchange, it's less than half of the 50 billion we can't account for. It is not for want of ideas. Look at the resources at your war. Look, many countries in this world will just pray for half of our resources. Say, Ubenya gold, Ubenya oil, Ubenya diamond, timber, bauxite at the same time.
Yeah, but I mean, the kind of leader you describe, your party hasn't got that, do you?
Why do you say that? Look at compare President Mahama and President Akufo-Addo. I didn't want to go into the usual, political football. But if you call for it, if you invite me to do that, visionary projects are President Mahama. Look, the Ghana gas project, every year is saving us in excess of $400 million of foreign exchange. Just look at the vision behind that Ghana gas project. Since he left, we haven't seen anything like that. We have not seen any major transformational project like that. I mean, see his interventions in the hospital sector. UGMC, our first quaternary hospital. You won't find any even in West Africa. The regional hospitals, Shao Sudoku, the regional hospitals, the polyclinics all over the place, and how that gave sustainable jobs, to healthcare workers. COVID by and Kenyasa intervention now by the Mahama, and that's visionary leadership. Who didn't have to wait for a pandemic to now say, I'll do Agenda 111.
Again, to be fair, if you take UGMC, if you take Ghana Gas, these were projects that predated John Mahama as president, no?
I disagree. Because
I know UGMC, sword was cut for UGMC in 2011.
Who was the head of the economic management team?
No, but we had a president at the time.
Who led those negotiations? No. You see, he was part of the team. He was, look, when it suits them, they call it the Mills Mahama era. When we are now talking about the visionary leadership of that era, and no, they say take him out. If it was some negativity, Ombeka said, it was the Mills Mahama era. He was part of it. I know he led the negotiations. He was head of the economic management team.
Very well.
Even this sustained single-digit inflation, the highest GDP growth rate, and all of that. You can't discuss these achievements without President Mahama as vice president at the time, leading this effort. And we all know, sir, President Mills had so much confidence in him, and many analysts were in awe. They admired how he delegated tremendously and allowed the vice president room to operate and to bring his skills to bear.
Very well.
Look, let's hold our leaders to the fire.
Okay.
I mean, mediocrity, adults. You can't be in a cost of living crisis. You can't be in an IMF ailing economy where you can't even pay your NAPCO trainees for about 9 months. Some of us MPs are forced to assist them every now and then. I mean, every sector is in such a mess. Every single indicator is pointing to the negative. And then you say, sir, your team is performing in outstanding manner. It's really an insult, to the Ghanaian people. And a lot of these, jokes and theatrics, lives are at stake. This is not the time for this kind of, presidential insults. Very frank.
And let me again congratulate you for some of the good stuff you're doing in your constituents. We've been following you, and we are proud of you. Yeah, that's a part. Why?
Oh, me that's it. And I'll invite you to my new hospital project. I know the owner. You lead the charge.
Sami Okudzeto Ablakwa and Amoten Nkano North Tongue Member of Parliament and Yeneno Edi and Komo, responding to some of the issues the president raised in that interview I think it was on North Star Radio in the northern part of the country. Ekosi saying Suni Ehaya Sempa 94.7 FM. We've lined up some other very interesting interviews for you. Ninyina Ebeba Sisiana. But let me read some few messages and then we'll make progress. Special happy birthday to a friend of Ekosi saying Sempa FM. Oh, Jerry Ahmed Shaibu. Wow. Council Papa, CEO of Coastal Development Authority. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And live to be 94.7 and beyond. Jerry Ahmed Shaibu, CEO, Coastal Development Authority, NA Nawoda. Happy birthday. Baby friend, the lawyer from Choco. Choco lawyer. Jerry Ahmed Shaibu. Happy birthday to you, my brother. Let me see. Wait, sir. Obi, good afternoon. His Excellency, the President's response to Ghanaians on his government reshuffling was below the belt. Even President Akufo, who left government with all the good indicators, which he rode on during his campaign in 2008, 2012, and 2016, which saw him winning government or the presidency, reshuffled. So what is he saying? What legacy does he want to leave? These are his men for all his 8 years in government. He should listen to the public and relieve Honorable Ken Oforiatta from the Finance Ministry and the Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Addison, from his government. or he would receive more worsening downgrades. This cannot be we have the men. Where are the men with this depressing and depreciation of the city? Asaki Awing Gobet and Onudi Weaba. And Asaki, former PNC flag bearer, hopeful, and executive secretary, Importers and Exporters Association. Asaki, good afternoon to you. Okay. Let me read the other messages we have for you. But before that, no ma mention afi yeni enkomo. Ekosi saying so Doctor Edu Owusu Sarkodie, a economist. Let's pick his views on the downgrade our S&Ps at the mines. Now we've been graded as junk. As a country, it's terrible. But Doc, Yamuakwabe Kosi saying so Boko there. Obiajo so. Was it something I was expecting? Your bedroom level a credible ratings agency ever in this kind of ratings?
That started at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You're downgrading somewhere, I think, February or March. And issues we have not been able to resolve the issues. The issues are still with us. The government's inability to raise enough domestic revenue, which is something I preaches all this while. Say we must be able to raise our own domestic revenue. Now, capital market now, borrow crowd, almost say, Sika o pe wo man what be a service debt no what be tia ehun si ho na eka no omunyi ni say obenya say sika no wo man, and they are basing their agreement on the fact that revenue measures are put in your budget no they don't think say you'll be able to meet it. So the whole issue no is about the revenue measures abandoned to budget now. Main budget original last year, no, which is this year's budget original last year, no. Plus revenue measures or revise or review in the mid-year budget, no. Almost share main budget of this year, almost share review of this year mid-year budget, no. Almost say revenue na buy no air pen, almost be best ever chia, busia borrow near you know, and ya dear a buy the benya says cano. And we are vulnerable, we may default, even if people give us their money. That is why, from the whole of this year, Ghana has not been able to go to the capital market because Obia fee say, or this Ghana buy enya sika or no any memo or the betia hunsi hono a tia amortization. And it was expected, and it was here before home. First of all, we must admit that there's a problem. I think as a government, as country, as the opposition party, NDC, and the rest, we must all admit that there's a problem and deal with it. If you don't admit that there's a problem, you may not find a solution for it. But once you admit it, you're about halfway through solving the problem. And so we must admit that as a country, yentimi nyasika wo yaye memo de bia na yes resre. O hwe tama yewie hipiki na be si sabre ya. De bia meka, and I make reference to your research ayaye. The growth rate of the public debt has always outpaced the growth rate of domestic revenue. And that's a fact. You can look at the figures. So you see Bobusia and Tentem Americana Bosiano Kono. Economy chair Americana your domestic revenue no echo. So the growth rate of the public debt always outpaces the growth rate of domestic revenue. In other words, as a country, Bosian and Ejihon, say ye pisika or ye memoria derby. Why? Because so kasa wo ye measures ye be discover more or more and how could tell be now so. The parents were to about 4 years now, man, only time. Into opening term, and the easiest way is to go and borrow. And also that they are home, I bet so you're calling in a minute 80.
But the other thing, and it's because we were told by analysts like yourself, say Ghana it take the bull by its horn. Now you're going to an IMF program. At least the mere announcement in post of Ghana at the IMF no will restore some level of confidence in the ability as a country to manage challenges because again a homegrown enhanced program they call IMF ebe support. And how come say market then respond up until now?
Obi ba me so me say a question what program no me dey hu.
No, I understand because the mere announcement in post to the IMF no should engender some level of
at
confidence.
At the time Abana yes our announcement the market reacted. If you remember, the market reacted positively. There was a positive reaction from the market. But I say market any morning high academia any media for any researchers any politicians obia share media budget or pay the programmer they call IMF no program no. And yes, the market will react initially, but when the dust settles, they are like, okay, hold on, let us not react too much because we have to see the document. As we speak, I don't know where government has gotten to with the negotiation stage.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the first stage is the data interrogation or whatever.
Yeah.
So they have to look at the data first, and then based on the data, they will prescribe a kind of program that they think or they will agree with the government to say that this is what suits your economy or what suits your present situation.
Now,
like
and also almost say, Doc, bet me, some negotiation bet me be 1 year, 6 months or 1 year. And the meaning say, from now till time I be negotiations, no. Now after you are signing on to a program, no. Niyama be ko say ya.
Sanya, it is said the obi be bo hobusian ni pakono yare a hospital. Say ni pakono nya ne ho nya nto doctor nya and diagnose no e man prescription man ho nto no ene o medi dwa. So usu mfa usika e man no. Nti international community no mo twen investors no they are all waiting to see the kind of diagnosis doctor na FN IMF no be diagnose the area no the economy area no. Now we are prescribing medicine office ye fa o man area sika sem na yare no e benya ahoden. Nti o mo tin chen so no they are all waiting. They are all waiting. In fact, our own domestic investors, they are all interested in what will happen. Our own banks, here, money are buying the I will tell you, they are all waiting to see the prescribed program IMF in the call. And a time lag as I'm making. There's a lag between time announcement, and the time abandoning the prescribed program. A whole amount for share how they want to react. And let us not forget, sir, market, whenever you hear market, think of profitability. Because we'll be in who call market, eco lose revenue, eco making losses. Obia call the market to make profit. In Tinipana and Conquer no money you be diano. Almost almost share more profit on being free at home. Almost for the Christmas. Almost for the Christmas. And let us also put that one into perspective, sir. The market has not reacted so much because almost only a profit-making entities. So they will not come here and make losses. They are looking at how they will make profit. And that is why anytime I will hear downgrade, default, no, or more hope, because somebody say if that's how I hear there, you see come out now say we need chia, I won't see who no need chia wakadia, and you're not any can say you know dija. And there's a lag. There's a lag here. And for as long as you name the kind of programmer, you demand the government and the Ghanaian economy not there, they will relax, they will wait, they wouldn't want to preempt, they wouldn't want to go ahead of the IMF and then the government's negotiation. They want to wait and see what will come out. If Sabana at this time or we put two documents together, minimum who is delaying who, whether the IMF or not, they are not satisfied with the data, or it is the government who is not ready. I don't think that we should play delay tactics here, or not tactics, but we should delay the process because Oman Sikasem no yare, and we must admit it. And doctor na obesa yare no, all man ho nya ha. Aban so nika no ho, data you have to provide it. The interpretation of the data, provide the interpretation. Now, omuntimi prescribe the program for us because as we speak now, the only solution in the shortest possible time is to have this IMF program. That is the only solution. We cannot have any structural change of our economy without stability. And we need the IMF to give us the stability before we can continue with anything that the government wants to do. Anything. Because I make reference to the first quarter revenue fiscal figures now, because the tax revenue was just 12.9 billion. Meanwhile, the debt service was as high as 13.9 billion. So the debt service is just 108% of the tax revenue. And teachers are abandoning to that's what it means. Abandoning to me, this is what Bobusia.
Busia, so now you're locking out.
But they are locking out. And kind of domestic, so no interest rate in 30%, 28%.
Yeah.
And the only way out now, this is a bilateral, this is a Krubi Air Force, be a China and Japan, and as you speak, you know, because of the COVID war, and Obi so much, you know. Obi so much, and say, yeah, free and mine. Then the only person who buy IMF and the World Bank. And the negotiation be no more, you know. You get intentum, no one to buy because Obi Ebre, I get the four bread, Obi Ebre. So see the Nogina Horde in say womb. Ebe can be Pia. Uti na kasa nkawa. Uba kofa car because ebe can fuel no. O transport aba fa no. Yeba tum. The autumn tomatoes no say on so kofa transport no. Ya too fair and also tomatoes no watum. Enti Obia ebe can Obia.
Wait, in common way,
negotiation, whatever they have to do to speed up the process.
Yeah.
Because patients knew we are doctor, the patients are, but you don't delay. You don't delay. I don't know where the delay is coming from because I know, sir, from the IMF perspective, you know, Omunim said about 24 other African countries have come to seek help because Omunim the global heat, you know, and because of the recognition, sir. There's a pandemic or there's a global challenge, you know, they will speed up the process. And see, I don't think that maybe the government was late. If you want to know, I hear the government was late. Me, I haven't done analysis to see because by this time I was in a program, no. And see, if you know, say it will take 6 to 1 year. I think you started last year. Not by this time you go through. Because Egypt and Tempana Egypt is signing onto the IMF program. Yeah,
but what is interesting, Doc? One of the frequently asked questions at IMF on their website also is the request for a program coming too late, given concerns about Ghana's economy and debt situation over the last 2 years. The economic situation is certainly challenging, but there is still scope for the government to take the right steps towards restoring macroeconomic stability and preventing a deeper crisis. Maybe some final question, sir. It's the monetary and the fiscal policy. Fiscal policy, Ministry of Finance. Monetary policy, Bank of Ghana. And Nioma by year to take us out in our hinge on those two. Ebiaka said the men in charge should go for a new team to be put together to handle the finance ministry. The Bank of Ghana Governor Crash should also go. Do you think that is something the president would have to do immediately, especially Ministry of Finance there?
This is a political question, but let me answer it.
No, but you are in the space. You are an analyst. You know better than some of us do.
Let me answer from the economist perspective. I don't know. I'm not a political expert, so I don't know too much about the politics and the timing and all that.
Yeah.
But let me answer in this way. There should usually be an equilibrium between the monetary sector and the fiscal sector.
Yes.
If the monetary sector is doing something right, and you can say fiscals no cost say no. If the fiscals are doing something right, and you can say monetary no cost say no. So all these people must have. They must be on the same page and have fresh idea. Now back to your question. Do we need to sack people, reshuffle, or what? My answer, direct answer is that we need fresh ideas. We need fresh ideas. As to whether it should come from the same people or different people, that one I leave it to the president. It can come from the same people if the same people refresh their mindset. Or say you could be called refresher courses. And whatever you are doing, you are getting the same results. And there's a saying that if you don't want the results, change your approach. If the governor or the finance minister they are using certain approaches, and we are not getting the results, then they must refresh their knowledge and change the strategy. Other than that, then there's the need for a different person who has a better strategy. Bottom line, we need fresh ideas.
Fresh ideas at the helm. Doc, may I not say, we'll come back to you when need be. Yeah, that's a papa anyway. Why?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Dr. Edu Owusu Kodie, an economist, and he lectures at Ghana's only university, the University of Ghana. You're one of our go-to people when it comes to matters on the economy. Yeah, that's Papa Dr. Edu Owusu Kodie. And I'm what is here no ADN Komo. Ekosi saying so higher Sempa 94.7 FM. Obi, those who are calling on the president to reshuffle his ministers have been unfair to him. How can you ask a sleeping man to wake up a man who is slumbering? What moral right will an incompetent and sleeping man on the job have to reshuffle equally incompetent ministers? A fair call will be for the president to resign and the entire government dissolved. Hashtag Sal is a scare on his conscience. Fred Agbenyo. And on the way, Abre Fred, thank you and good afternoon. We say, okay. Happy 40th birthday to lawyer Sheila Sechi, the office of the First Lady. Have a wonderful birthday, madam, and enjoy your day. Brian Boabin Samuel Nediweyaba. And he again says, Obi President Akufo-Addo won't take moral lessons from a brothel. Again, he won't take advice from, okay, that's not fair. Samuel Brian Boabin again, but I've edited that part of the message. Well, it's a good afternoon, Obi. The official inauguration of the hot seat is happening this Sunday at Poma Avenue inside Ahafo-Kwapong. The hot seat is an NPP grassroots group in Ahafo region dedicated to helping the party break the eight. Okay, Atta David, office of the president, Jubilee House, and Odiwe Abraying. We say, Obi, please ask Honorable Okudzeto whether whether the visionary leader he talks about is John Dramani Mahama, who put Ghanaians in heat, darkness, hunger, and unemployment for 4 years, and eventually handed us to the IMF. Tell Honorable Okudzeto that UGMC started in 2011 by males. Junior Ewo Tantra Hills Edia no dia brain any. Let me see. We say good afternoon, Obi. We need a fresh ideas at the Ministry of Finance, period. Alfred Kojo Tradels. Honorable Ablakwa would always be exposed by fact. When you reminded him that the UG hospital existed before Mahama, he responded that Mahama was the leader of President Mels's economic management team. That is not true. Dr. Gobind Nankani, of blessed memory, was the chairman of President Mels's Economic Advisory Council. someone should please tell Honorable Okudzeto to respect his audience. But the Economic Advisory Council, any different from Economic Management Team. And I say under President Mills, no money Economic Management Team biana. I think that's also a question we need to ask. Yes, we witnessed a good economy under former President J.A. Akufo when the NDC took over in 2009, but we saw a horrible and horrendous output from the NDC administration. Now we know Ghana's economy is not up to standard, and the NDC are saying they want to take over and shape the economy. Obi, ask Okudzeto, how sure are they? Okay, because when it was a good economy under J.A. Akufo, they gave us a disaster economy. Richard Krampa, Ewa Ablakwa Central, and as I always say, mo type a message, read through it before you press the send button. Very, very important. We say, good afternoon, Obi. The president's response to AFA is shocking. But do you think the president was responding to AFA? It's shocking, uninspiring, and disappointing. Is he saying that there are no other competent people in our party to relieve some of his appointees who have clearly demonstrated that they are overwhelmed by their responsibilities? Regards to Dennis Miracle Sabuaje, Nana Ekuyamwa Boateng. Good day, Obi. It is rather unfortunate that these comments are coming from the president. I will advise the president to leave the NDC out of these matters and rather concentrate on his own party people. The president should direct his anger towards the Alliance for Foot Soldiers Advocacy because they are the people calling for a reshuffle, and he should leave the NDC alone. Look at what is happening in our country. The bond market is a no-go area for us. Our economy has been rated as junk by S&P, and the president says people should not talk. God have mercy. Alhaji Hamza is in pig farm. Obi, the NPP in 2001 inherited an inflation of 48%, and by 2008, inflation was 18% without an IMF program. You think so? You think it was without an IMF program? Or say, okay, the NDC in 2009 brought inflation to 8%, and by the time they were leaving office in 2016, inflation was around 15%. The NPP government has been doing a lot since 2017, but because of insufficient publicity by the state agencies responsible for such numerous projects being undertaken in their offices, it looks like the government is doing nothing. Yao Marvin Kwesimintim at the way up, and he says he's now in Nungwa. Okay. Let me see. Which other ones we can read and then we make progress. Obi, happy first anniversary to Sami Ewuku as Director General of the NLA. Ofie Yendini Kapo, we are proud of you. Greetings to Honorable Titus Glover. Nana Yerenchi the First. Mampong Ekuapem Apesemakahene. And on the way up. And exactly 1 year since Samia Wuku became Director General of the NLA. Wow, a year comes so soon. Sami, congratulations to you. Kudos to all of the things you're doing at the NLA. And I think the record of performance is there for all to see. But Timothy Hesse, a former Ghanaian athlete. When you're Kora, okay, Timothy Hesse, former Ghanaian athlete. May I know any and come on? Timothy, Akwaba na pom to say.
Boko.
Fantastic. Who Ghana now say who US is here?
Okay, more US.
More US.
Yeah, more Virginia.
Great.
Yeah, more Virginia. Yeah.
Great. Ain't time now we are active athletes, no na. Wono the hin na 200 meters, 200 meters, discus, pole vault, the hin na 2.
Oh, okay. My main specialty was 400 meters.
Oh, now we 400 meters.
Yeah.
Wow. And on a more pitch, na round back on home.
No.
Enti uko Olympic Games.
Me call Barcelona 92.
Hey, Barcelona 92. And there's a see match.
Check that.
Yeah. Wow. Not just say, now that you are in the US, no, there happened to colleagues, Birmingham in the UK, no, came as an embarrassment to you, and
Yeah, it was an embarrassment. Also, it was sad because for their training, the Common Games, only 4 years. So these guys have gone through almost training, bread from hustle, and then small mistake and stop them from getting a medal. It's very sad. I'll take it as more saddening. Embarrassing because I feel for the athlete. I feel for the athlete.
Me ba cho say radio ben wa low and man and answer say o kasa through earpiece nso a yi na kasa gu phone nim direct my me pa cho wa.
Okay, mami earpiece.
Earpiece na my.
Yeah, hello.
Fantastic. Enti during momo time no bibi say esida, bibi say tromoda.
Oh, there be me time na Sibipen, na BC wo Atlanta Olympic Games no. Na me time no BBC and Sibipen, but ABC wo the same issue no. ABC wo Atlanta Olympic Games.
And also na a relay team sir.
The same receive 4x1 relay team.
Na ya eden na this ha no man ba. What eden na team this ha de ne ba.
You know what? On this particular issue, no, I'm saying just to me, me find it just baby mind on happy. There's more issues. There's more issues that involve the way the association is being run on a mechanism. I think that's because where the idea to me happens is just paying attention to detail and making sure that we could have done this earlier an hour before. So I don't look at the issue not happening, because the coach there, one of the coaches there, is my boy.
Okay.
And I think he knows a lot. And for him, because of that's more painful to me on the mechanism. But the way the association, that's the major issue. The way the association is being run, it's about time that we should bring a change. Because I don't know if you know, this year, the past athletes of Ghana, we organized a competition with our own money. It wasn't any funding from the government or nothing. But we came up together and said, you know what, athletics, the problem with athletics, there's a complaint, DBR said, they don't have competition. So we say, okay, fine, we're going to plan this. And as a matter of fact, we did it with the GA, which we consulted them. They were able to get a commercial sports stadium for it. But then we organized everything. We put the athletes in hotels for 3 days. We paid for everything.
More old athletes, no?
Yes. We did it this year, June.
Oh, really?
Yes.
With
our own money.
And the athletes here called Commonwealth Games here. When you now participate in our games are okay.
Because sometimes most of them were not able to be there because no more World Championship for
Oregon, okay.
Yeah, and on Monday, as a matter of fact, the painful thing about this competition is the weekend competition. All the athletes for Nigeria say I'm going to release. Well, so issues no. People know say there's issues over there. In this, there be a way of blessing because we have a lot of good athletes in Ghana. A lot. And young ones from other states. They're really good. It's a matter of having a good association now. A very organized, get them together. That's the issue, and everything starts with leadership.
But
if you don't have leadership, it's not one person.
Timothy, the other thing they say
it's going to go well.
Okay, the association you talk about near the Ghana Athletics Association, meboa.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I don't know, see, I'm president here.
Well, I'm president. You know what? As a matter of fact, if I tell you that I really know who runs it, I bet you I don't know. But this is the deal. I don't have a problem mentioning names.
Okay.
Because this thing has been going on for a long time. And we all been asking ourselves the same question. How come the Ghana Kotumrika, we don't take it our local coach? How come the Ghana Kotumrika, Adrosu is the one, Adrosu is the former athlete? Why is he the one making selections? Why is he the one all selecting coaches are? It's almost two. How come there are only 2 coaches there? Almost United, former athletes, all United States. Both of them, they're not the 2 coaches. Why are you taking them and then leaving the coaches in Ghana? Almost needed that exposure. No? These are some of the issues. Who runs the GA? That's a question I say your listeners and the public need to ask the NSA. Because the NSA, the GA is under the NSA.
Yeah, under the NSA, yes, true.
So, say, Ghana got 2 coins, almost 2 coins, the traveler. I mean, don't they know who is traveling? Who are the coaches? Are they asking questions? How can the same people? You know, start there. This is happening. Because one, let me tell you something. You said government don't have money to give to athletes.
Yes.
Period. But then you need people in the association who can go out there and ask and solicit money from companies. That's how you organize. Like I mentioned earlier, we organize competition, competition of commercial,
yes,
with our own money. So if we can do this, and you have people in the association who can go out there and ask for help. So, it's sad.
Yeah,
look,
but Timothy, but the truth of the matter, so they say, all over the world, you would realize, for some of the other sports, in the over football, for example, there are old footballers or more enter into administrative roles. Into Samuel Eto'o-Fields, FA president of Cameroon, Didier Drogba attempted Cote d'Ivoire. We can name a lot. Michel Platini, more a lot of old players. I would want to believe that most athletes, maybe it's about time you began thinking along those lines. In the Enyawu Timothy Hesse, as GAA president, you can then implement some of the changes you think should be implemented. Why are you not interested? I didn't know. More down, contest.
You know what? I'm not interested. I have a family.
Okay.
Well, I have a good job here. I can't leave my good job and get back. What we can do, right? We can help there. We can your best support through leadership. Get themselves back with good intention, not for more personal way. On the mechanical, we have a lot of people here who are willing to help. If you look, Ghana, you need equipment. At this present time, Ghana, we don't have equipment. On the mechanical, equipment, sponsorship. Azamati says, Azamati is well recognized. Azamati can bring equipment to Ghana because of his name, where he is now. So you need, on the Ghana, I don't have to be president.
Yeah.
But we can support good people or more good intention for the sport. And I'm not thinking, they don't think about themselves. We are willing to do that. We're willing. A lot of us. Look, we do a lot of stuff. We don't talk about it. On the mechanical, athletes, this week, and it's athletes for Ghana about US. They have full scholarship, which we did for her. So we do a lot of stuff. We don't talk, but then the leadership there, they don't want us. They don't want us closer because of their own personal stuff. And we are not going to fight with them because I'm okay. I have a comfortable life in United. I don't need any money from anybody. All we need is leadership. Because Ghana, we have good athletes.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I was even shocked to know, sir, apart from Azameti and the other guy, you know, all the two new guys, not almost first timer, omu ejane at a competition like this, and you could see the potential and everything. I agree with the fact that there were a lot of athletes. The other thing, I'm a person, Busa Timothy, and say, yes, I mean, the good people you want to see run the association, no, will not drop from Mars with for the want of a better expression. Say be a monso as old athlete, to identify you be say assume say an our maintain the support talent no be GAA boss. He can turn around the fortunes of athletics in this country. More identify you be sir, and what would you want to do for the person?
We're working on it. We are working on it. And the past athletes association of Ghana, no, we are working collaboratively with all the past athletes, no. With you. So we are going to try and set up a team to identify the people that we think can lead the association, no. And then because you can't just go to say who fire on the mechanic.
Yes.
Because there's a system. There have to be elections because we are all governed by World Athletics Association. So we have to go through the system. And then, but we are planning. Yeah, we are working on it. We have names that we working on it. And then we are going to, get from A to Z the people that we think can bring Ghana athletics back, no? And then whatever time there's election, we're going to present those people.
Okay.
Because this is not a matter of saying you're from Brazil, you're not going to do that. We are going to present the people. We're going to make everything open. And we will go have the backing of the past athletes of Ghana because we know, sir, we can bring athletes back. We know, sir, with our experiences, with the exposure we can help. And the coaches no more Ghana. We can help them because coaches in the division. Because what they did was, almost created division among the coaches. So even in Ghana, no coaches, they don't get along. So the leadership got to bring all those coaches together. Say, coaches, we should have a panel there. Every year, we have a competition. Coach, we will come with. If you produce, you'll go travel. So that's going to be a good incentive for the coaches. Say, you know what? I need to do this. I need to do this. But if these coaches are in Ghana, they're training. I bet you your call stadium and Nopabe 337, all right? There were over 100 athletes that were training. Besides, these coaches now are waking up early in the morning. Omaba Stadium, when they training. Look, you're buying over 100 pairs of shoes, running shoes, make it to the buy, but at the market. Yeah, medal, we've got all the that's expensive. Athletes, no. One athlete, they came to us and said, "Bra, you pamucho, mobile. You pamucho. Never had this type of competitions for a long time." This also, what's the last time you had 2-day competition for Ghana? Obia.
Yeah.
How can you bring Obi free upper? No. Say one day we have 1-day competition. Number 2 mega. Don't go back. How can you do that? So we have identified, we are working on it. We are going to try and get the good people that we think they can run association, and we are going to support them. We go back them, and all the coaches into whatever equipment, because we have equipment. We bring it. So when it comes to time, we go need the help of the government. Say, duty, but we want to help. So if anybody is listening, look, I'm not going to get about that. We need to move forward. Moving forward instead, we need to plan next year. The African Games. It starts now. It starts today. On the American. So, bruh, we want to help out. We want the countries to do good because we have the athletes in Ghana who can do good. We have the coaches in Ghana. All we need is the support system. Because Obitu Mika, it needs a lot. Medical, the physio, all those things. We have among us, there will be more we are pharmacists, there will be more we are doctors. They can all help out. We can all do these things together. But they got to open the door. They always shut the door. That's why we for a long time we be out of athletics. We didn't get involved in it. For the past 2 years, and now you're getting involved. They said no, we have to try and change it on the mechanism. So that's what we want to do. We identify people. We've identified some people but we want to talk to them, see, and then we're going to bring it because your father, and of Ghana, your board on the mechanism. We all go sit down. We all go talk about it. We go names number house. Then we go from there. But right now, the person who will be running the association, the person don't know nothing about athletics, brother.
Oh, really?
He don't know nothing. Who is running athletics in Ghana? That's the question. Who is the coach in Ghana? Who is the head coach in Ghana? Who is the head coach? We don't even have a coaching system in Ghana. Because almost sideline, the moment you try to say, who bear with it, then they fighting. Then they play the coaches against each other. Let's move forward. How do we move forward?
In your case, how were you identified? Through inter-schools, Anna?
Well, through the schools and the national team, and then there was a coach in Ghana. Or whom one day we said, do you want to go to America? I said, yes. No, see, coach way for America. Gina Stroman. So, luckily, none were newspaper clippings of me and stuff. Now I've run a couple of financial Mr. Magana. So, we sent him our coach, and the coach said, okay, all my scholarship. And then when I came, you know what? They also recommend the fellow athletes. So, the school I went to, most of Miles Mills, Leo Miles Mills, Jonathan Malley, Dan brothers, all of them went over there.
Oh, okay.
And then we start leaving. Most of us left the country after 1987, 88, 89. That was our group. Then after, then the doors were open. Everybody, the doors are open. If you do well academically, just do a little bit academically, and do well in track, you go get a scholarship. But the schools are here to recruit.
Yeah.
On the mechanic, yes.
It's true.
I mean, don't get away or two, no jump, no. Deborah Akwa.
Yeah, Deborah, yes.
This girl is the new bros. I love this girl. There's another guy. Also a long jump. If this guy has been sent for I don't know to be your selection without even having competition. How do you have a selection without your competition? Your time, they do competition. I America, me, my bagana, or Ghana was beating me. Following year, everything. But that's a system that was there. So how do you unpick people? Tell Mokoro president that there are other people there. You don't give them the chance. There is the almost lot of issues, that the problem, but it can be solved with better leadership. That's all we need. Leadership.
Very well.
If we have that, we'll go be okay.
Timothy, my yena say, you best near din komobio. Why?
Yes, sir.
You best near din komobio. That's a pa. Timothy, thank you. Hesse, a former national athlete, and Motesi Aneno AD and Como represented Ghana in Barcelona 92. And I can't say bebre, but bottom line, and it's issues. The Ghana Athletics Association, leadership for them is a problem. They are now taking interest. Or more to be organized how best they can identify suitable candidates to run the association and push them to win the presidency, just to revive Ghana athletics. Inti enone enkomo oni edi. There are a lot of the other former athletes are interested to want to speak with us. If us answer me, we would see if we'll get